Welcome friends. In this session we introduce concepts like invariant subspaces and T conductor of a vector into a subspace. These ideas are useful to obtain characterization of triangulable and diagonalizable operators in terms of their minimal polynomials. We shall also discuss the simultaneous triangulation of commutating family of triangulable operators and the simultaneous diagonalization of commuting family of diagonalizable operators. Invariant subspaces. Definition: let V be a vector space and T a linear operator on V. If W is a subspace of V, we say that W is invariant under T if for each vector alpha in W, the vector T alpha is in W, that is if T of W subset of W. Example 1, let T be a linear operator on V, then the following subspaces are invariant under T: the space V itself, the 0 subspace, the range of T, and the null space of T. Example 2, R2 is a vector space over the field R. Let T be the linear operator on R2, which is represented in the standard ordered basis by the matrix A equal to matrix 0 minus 1 1 0. Now, as a special case of example 1, the space R2 and the 0 subspace are invariant under T. These are the only invariant subspaces under T for the following reason: if there is another invariant subspace, then it would necessarily have dimension 1, but if W is the one dimensional subspace spanned by some non-zero vector alpha, and if W is invariant under T, then T alpha belongs to W implies T alpha equal to C into alpha for some scalar, so that alpha is a characteristic vector. This is not possible because the characteristic equation of the matrix is x square plus 1 equal to 0, which has no real solution, and so A has no real characteristic values. Definition: let W be an invariant subspace for T and let alpha be a vector in V. The T conductor of alpha into W is the set ST alpha W, which consists of all polynomials G over the scalar field such that GT of alpha is in W. In the special case W equal to 0 set, the conductor is called the T annihilator of alpha. Notation: we shall usually drop the subscript T and write S alpha W. Example 3, if P is the minimal polynomial for T, then Pt of alpha equal to 0 belongs to W. Hence, the conductor S alpha W always contains the minimal polynomial for T. Theorem 1, if W is an invariant subspace for T, then W is invariant under every polynomial in T. Thus, for each alpha in V, the conductor S alpha W is an ideal in the polynomial algebra f x. Proof: let W be an invariant subspace for T if beta is in W, then T beta is in W. Consequently, T of T beta equal to T square beta is in W. By induction, T k beta is in W for each k. Take linear combinations to see that f t of beta is in W for every polynomial f. Thus, W is invariant under every polynomial in T. We now show that S alpha W is a subspace of f x. Let f g belongs to S alpha W and C belongs to f, then C into f plus g is a polynomial over the scalar field, and C into f plus g of t equal to C into f of t plus g of t. Hence, for each alpha in V, C into f plus g of t of alpha equal to C f of t of alpha plus g of t of alpha. Equation 1. Since f g belongs to S alpha W, both f of t alpha and g of t of alpha are in W, and since W is a subspace, the vector C into f of t of alpha plus g of t of alpha belongs to W, and hence by equation 1 the vector C into f plus g of t of alpha belongs to W. That is, we have shown that for each alpha in V, C into f plus g of t of alpha belongs to W. Hence, C f plus g belongs to S alpha W, showing that S alpha W is a subspace of f x. Let G be a polynomial in S alpha W, that is G t of alpha be in W. Now, G t alpha belongs to W and W is invariant under every polynomial in T implies that for any polynomial f we have f t into g t of alpha belongs to W. Since f g t equal to f of t into g of t, the above shows that f g of t of alpha belongs to W. So, that f into g belongs to S alpha W. Thus, the conductor S alpha W is an ideal in the polynomial algebra f x. The unique monic generator of the ideal S alpha W is also called the T conductor of alpha into W, the T annihilator in case W equal to 0 set. We now show that every T conductor divides the minimal polynomial for T. For this, we note that the T conductor of alpha into W is the monic polynomial G of least degree such that G T alpha is in W. A polynomial f is in S alpha W if and only if G divides F. Since the conductor S alpha W contains the minimal polynomial for T, we have that T conductor of alpha into W divides the minimal polynomial for T. This is true for any alpha in V. Hence, every T conductor divides the minimal polynomial for T. Definition: a linear operator T on a finite dimensional vector space V is called triangulable if there is an ordered basis for V in which T is represented by a triangular matrix. Theorem 2: let if V be a finite dimensional vector space over the field F, let T be a linear operator on V such that the minimal polynomial for T is a product of linear factors P equal to x minus C1 raised to R1 into etc. into x minus Ck raised to Rk, Ci belongs to F for I equal to 1 etc. k. Let W be a proper subspace of V which is invariant under T, then there exists a vector alpha in V such that A alpha is not in W. B T minus Ci of alpha is in W for some characteristic value C of the operator T. Proof: let beta be any vector in V which is not in W, let G be the T conductor of beta into W, then G divides P, the minimal polynomial for T. Since beta is not in W, the polynomial G is constant. Therefore, G equal to x minus C1 raised to E1 etc. x minus Ck raised to Ek, where at least one of the integers Ei is positive. Choose j so that Ej greater than 0. Then x minus Cj divides G, so that there is a polynomial h such that G equal to x minus Cj into h. By the definition of G, the vector alpha equal to ht beta cannot be in W, but T minus Cji of alpha equal to T minus Cji h of t of beta equal to Gt of beta is in W. Taking C equal to Cj, the proof of the theorem is completed. Remark: in the theorem, what A and B say is the T conductor of alpha into W is the linear polynomial x minus C for some characteristic value C of the operators T. Theorem 3: let V be a finite dimensional vector space over the field F and let T be a linear operator on V, then T is a triangulable if and only if the minimal polynomial for T is a product of linear polynomials over F. Proof: let V be an n-dimensional vector space over the field F. Suppose the minimal polynomial for T is a product of linear polynomials over F. Say P equal to x minus C1 raised to R1 etc. x minus Ck raised to Rk. By repeated application of theorem 2, we shall arrive at an ordered basis B equal to alpha 1 etc. alpha n, in which the matrix T is upper triangular. To find alpha 1 etc. alpha n, we start by applying theorem 2 to the invariant subspace W naught equal to 0 set of T to obtain the vector alpha 1 such that alpha 1 naught belongs to W naught and T minus Ci of alpha 1 belongs to W naught. Then T alpha 1 is in the subspace spanned by alpha 1 and W naught, that is T alpha 1 is a scalar multiple of alpha 1, so that T alpha 1 equal to A11 into alpha 1, where A11 is a scalar. Then we apply theorem 2 to W1, the space spanned by alpha 1, and obtain a vector alpha 2 such that alpha 2 not belongs to W1 and T alpha 2 is in the subspace spanned by alpha 2 and W1, that is T alpha 2 is in the subspace spanned by alpha 1 and alpha 2. Hence, T alpha 2 equal to A12 into alpha 1 plus A22 into alpha 2 where A12 and A22 are scalars. Then apply theorem to W2, the space spanned by alpha 1 and alpha 2. Continue in that way. Since the dimension of V is n, this process terminates after n steps and obtain the vectors alpha 1 etc. alpha n such that alpha j not an element of W j minus 1 and T alpha j equal to A 1 j alpha 1 plus etc. A j j alpha j, j equal to 1 to etc. n, equation 2. We take B equal to alpha 1 etc. alpha n, then B is a basis for V and matrix of T related to the basis B equal to matrix column T alpha 1 related to the basis B, column T alpha 2 relative to the basis B etc. column T alpha n relative to the matrix B equal to matrix A11, A12, A13 etc. A1n, 0, A22, A23 etc. A2n, 0, 0, A33 etc. A3n etc. 0, 0, 0 etc. ANN, equation number 3. Hence, T is represented by a triangular matrix in the basis B. We also note that after alpha 1 etc. alpha I have been found, it is the triangular type relations 2 for j equal to 1 etc. I, which ensure that the subspace spanned by alpha 1 etc. alpha I is invariant under T. If T is triangulable, there is an ordered basis B for V in which T is represented by a triangular matrix of the form in equation 3. We know that the characteristic polynomial of the operator T is the characteristic polynomial of any n by n matrix which represents T in some ordered basis for V. Hence, using equation 3, the characteristic polynomial for T is f equal to determinant of xi minus matrix T over B equal to determinant of x minus A11, A12, A13 etc. A1n, 0 x minus A22, A23 etc. A2n, 0, 0 x minus A33 etc. A3n etc. 0, 0, 0 etc. x minus ANN equal to x minus A11 into x minus A22 into etc. x minus ANN. AII's are the characteristic values and some of the AII's are may be repeating. So that we write the characteristic polynomial for T in the form f equal to x minus C1 raised to D1 etc. x minus Ck raised to Dk Ci in f. Since minimal polynomial of an operator divides its characteristic polynomial, we have that the minimal polynomial P of the operator T divides f. So, P has the form P equal to x minus C1 raised to R1 etc. x minus Ck raised to Rk, 0 less than or equal to Ri less than or equal to Di, I equal to 1 etc. k. That is, the minimal polynomial for T is a product of linear polynomials over f. This completes the proof. Let T be a linear operator on the finite dimensional space V. We say that T is diagonalizable if there is a basis for V, each vector of which is a characteristic vector of T. The following theorem characterizes diagonalizable operators in terms of minimal polynomials. Theorem 4, that V be a finite dimensional vector space over the field F and let T be a linear operator on V. Then T is a diagonalizable if and only if the minimal polynomial for T has the form P equal to x minus C1 etc. x minus Ck, where C1 etc. Ck are distinct elements of F. Proof. We first show that the minimal polynomial of a diagonalizable linear operator is a product of distinct linear factors. For this, let T be a diagonalizable linear operator and let C1 etc. Ck be the distinct characteristic values of T. Then the minimal polynomial for T is the polynomial P equal to x minus C1 etc. x minus Ck for the following reason. If alpha is a characteristic vector, then one of the operators T minus C1i etc. T minus Cky sends alpha into 0. Therefore, Pt alpha equal to T minus C1i etc. T minus Cky of alpha equal to 0 for every characteristic vector alpha. Since T is diagonalizable, there is a basis for the space V which consists of characteristic vectors of T. Hence, for any beta belongs to V, Pt beta equal to T minus C1i etc. T minus Ck of beta equal to 0. So, that P of t equal to t minus C1i etc. t minus Ck equal to 0, the 0 operator. Hence, the minimal polynomial for the diagonalizable operator t is a product of distinct linear factors. To prove the converse, suppose the minimal polynomial for t has the form p equal to x minus C1 etc. x minus Ck, where C1 etc. Ck are distinct elements of f. We have to show that V has a basis consisting of characteristic vectors of t. For this, let W be the subspace spanned by all of the characteristic vectors of t. Then it is enough to show that W equal to V. For this, suppose W not equal to V and arrive at a contradiction. By theorem 2, there is a vector alpha not in W and a characteristic value Cj of t such that the vector beta equal to t minus Cji of alpha lies in W. Since beta is in W, beta equal to beta 1 plus etc. plus beta k, where t beta I equal to Ci into beta I 1 less than or equal to I less than or equal to k, and therefore, the vector h of t beta equal to h of C1 beta 1 plus etc. h of Ck beta k is in W for every polynomial h. Now, p equal to x minus Cj into q for some polynomial q. Also, for the polynomial q, there is a polynomial h such that q equal to x minus Cj into h plus q of Cj, or q minus q of Cj equal to x minus Cj into h. We have qt alpha minus qcj alpha equal to h of t t minus Cji alpha equal to h of t beta. Thus, qcj alpha equal to qt alpha minus ht beta, equation number 4. We have observed that ht beta is in W. Since 0 equal to pt alpha equal to t minus Cji qt alpha, the vector qt alpha is a characteristic vector associated with the characteristic value Cj. So, that qt alpha belongs to W. Now, from equation 4, ht beta belongs to W and qt alpha belongs to W implies qcj alpha belongs to W. Since alpha is not in W, we have the scalar qcj equal to 0. Thus, Cj is root of the polynomial q. This contradicts the fact that p has distinct roots. This contradiction leads us to conclude that W equal to V. This completes the proof. Simultaneous triangulation and simultaneous diagonalization. Let V be a finite dimensional space and let F be a family of triangulable or diagonalizable operators on V. We examine whether it is possible to find on basis B such that for all t in F, the matrices T B are triangular or diagonal. Definition: the subspace W of V is invariant under F, the family of operators on V, if W is invariant under each operator in F. Theorem 5. Let F be a commuting family of triangulable linear operators on a finite dimensional vector space V over the field F. Let W be a proper subspace of V which is invariant under F. Then there exists a vector alpha in V such that alpha is not in W. B. For each t in F, the vector t alpha is in the subspace spanned by alpha and W. Proof: since F subset of L V V and since V is finite dimensional, the subspace spanned by F is finite dimensional. Let T1 etc. Tr be a maximal linearly independent subset of F, that is a basis for the subspace spanned by F. If alpha is a vector such that B holds for each Ti, then B will hold for every operator which is a linear combination of T1 etc. Tr. Because of this observation, it is no loss of generality to assume that F contains only a finite number of operators. The single operator T1 is triangulable, and hence by theorem 3, the minimal polynomial for T1 is a product of linear polynomials over the field F. Hence, by theorem 2, for the operator T1, we can find a vector beta 1 in V that is not in W and a scalar C1 such that T1 minus C1i beta 1 is in W. Let V1 be the collection of all vectors beta in V such that T1 minus C1i beta is in W. Then V1 is a subspace of V which is properly larger than W. We now show that V1 is invariant under F. If T commutes with T1, then T1 minus C1i into T beta equal to T of T1 minus C1i beta, equation number 5. If beta is in V1, then T1 minus C1i beta is in W. Since W is invariant under each T in F, we have T of T1 minus C1I beta is in W. Hence, by equation 5 T1 minus C1I T of beta belongs to W. Thus, by construction of V1, T beta is in V1 for all beta in V1 and all T is in F. Thus, V1 is invariant under F. Now, W is a proper subspace of V1. Let U2 be the linear operator on V1 obtained by restricting T2 to the subspace of V1. The minimal polynomial for U2 divides the minimal polynomial for the triangular operator T2, and hence the minimal polynomial for U2 is a product of linear polynomials over the field F. Therefore, one may apply theorem 2 so that operator and invariant subspace W. We obtain a vector beta 2 in V1 not in W and a scalar C2 such that T2 minus C2I beta is in W. Note that beta 2 is not in W. T1 minus C1I beta 2 is in W. T2 minus C2I W2 is in W. Let V2 be the set of all vectors beta in V1 such that T2 minus C2I beta is in W. Then V2 is invariant under F. Apply theorem 2 to U3, the restriction of T3 to V2. If we continue in this way, we shall reach a vector beta r such that beta r is not in W, T1 minus C1I beta r is in W, T2 minus C2I beta r is in W, etc. Tr minus Cri beta r is in W. Now, take alpha equal to beta r, then Tj minus Cji alpha is in W, j equal to 1 etc. r. That is, for j equal to 1 etc. r, Tj alpha is in the subspace spanned by alpha and W. Hence, for each t in F, the vector T alpha is in the subspace spanned by alpha and W. This completes the proof of the theorem. Next result discuss the simultaneous triangulation of commuting family of triangulable operators. Theorem 6. Let V be a finite dimensional vector space over the field F. Let F be a commuting family of triangulable linear operators on V. Then there exists an ordered basis for V such that every operator in F is represented by a triangular matrix in that basis. Proof. Let V be an n-dimensional vector space over the field F. By repeated application of theorem 5, we shall arrive at an ordered basis B equal to alpha 1 etc. alpha n, in which each matrix T belongs to F is upper triangular. To find alpha 1 etc. alpha n, we start by applying theorem 5 to the subspace W naught equal to 0 set to obtain a vector alpha 1 such that alpha 1 not an element of W naught for each T belongs to F. T alpha 1 is in the subspace spanned by alpha 1 and W naught. That is, for each T belongs to F, T alpha 1 is a scalar multiple of alpha 1, so that T alpha 1 equal to A11 transpose alpha 1, where the scalar A11 T depends on the operator T belongs to F. Then we apply theorem 5 to W1, the space spanned by alpha 1, and obtain a vector alpha 2 such that alpha 2 not an element of W1, and for each T belongs to F, T alpha 2 is in the subspace spanned by alpha 2 and W1. That is, for each T belongs to F, T alpha 2 is in the subspace spanned by alpha 1 and alpha 2. Hence, T alpha 2 equal to A12 T alpha 1 plus A22 T alpha 2, where the scalars A12 T and A22 T depends on the operator T belongs to F. Then apply theorem 5 to W2, the space spanned by alpha 1 and alpha 2. Continue in that way. Since V is n dimensional, this process terminates after n steps and obtain the vectors alpha 1 etc. alpha n such that alpha j not an element of W j minus 1, and for T belongs to F, T alpha j equal to A1j T alpha 1 plus etc. AJJ T alpha j, j equal to 1 to etc. n, equation number 6. We take B equal to alpha 1 etc. alpha n, then B is a basis for V, and for T belongs to F, matrix of T B equal to matrix T alpha 1 B, T alpha 2 B etc. T alpha n B equal to matrix A11 T, A12 T, A13 T etc. A1 n T, 0 A22 T, A23 T etc. A2 n T, 0 0 A33T etc. A3NT etc. 0 0 0 etc. ANNT. Hence, every T belongs to F is represented by a triangular matrix in the basis B. We note that the basis B is common for all T belongs to F. We also note that after alpha 1 etc. alpha I have been found, it is triangular type relations 6 for j equal to 1 etc. I, which ensure that the subspace spanned by alpha 1 etc. alpha I is invariant under each T belongs to F. This completes the proof. The next result is needed to prove that there is a basis B such that for all T in a commuting family of diagonalizable linear operators, the matrices T B are diagonal. Theorem 7. Let T be a linear operator on the finite dimensional space V. Let C1 etc. Ck be the distinct characteristic values of T and let Wi be the space of characteristic vectors associated with the characteristic value Ci. If W equal to W1 plus etc. Wk, then dimension of W equal to dimension of W1 plus etc. plus dimension of Wk. In fact, if Bi is an ordered basis for Wi, then B equal to B1 etc. Bk is an ordered basis for W. We now state and prove the simultaneous diagonalization of commuting family of diagonalizable operators. Theorem H. Let F be a commuting family of diagonalizable linear operators on the finite dimensional vector space V, then there exists an ordered basis for V such that every operator in F is represented in that basis by a diagonal matrix. Proof. We proceed by induction on the dimension of V. If dimension of V equal to 1, then fix a non-zero element alpha belongs to V and take B equal to alpha, then B is a basis for V, and for each T belongs to F, matrix T B is a 1 by 1 matrix which is obviously a diagonal matrix. Now, as induction argument, assume the theorem holds for the vector spaces of dimension less than n and let V be an n dimensional space. Case 1. If T is in F is a scalar multiple of the identity operator, then for any basis B of V, T B is an n by n diagonal matrix. Case 2. Choose any T in F which is not a scalar multiple of the identity. Let C1 etc. Ck be the distinct characteristic values of T, and for each I let Wi be the null space of T minus Ci I. Fix an index I. Then Wi is invariant under every operator which commutes with T. Let Fi be the family of linear operators on Wi obtained by restricting the operators in F to the invariant subspace Wi. Using theorem 4, we can say that each operator in Fi is diagonalizable because its minimal polynomial divides the minimal polynomial for the corresponding diagonalizable operator in F. Since dimension Wi less than dimension V, the operators in Fi can be simultaneously diagonalized. In other words, Wi has a basis Bi which consists of vectors which are simultaneously characteristic vectors for every operator in Fi. Since T is diagonalizable, dimension V equal to dimension of W1 plus etc. plus dimension of Wk. Also, since C1 etc. Ck be the distinct characteristic values of T, by theorem 7, B equal to B1 etc. Bk is a basis for V. By the construction of each Bi, every operator in F is represented in the basis B by a diagonal matrix. This completes the proof of the theorem. Now, let us summarize the session. In this session, we have introduced the concept of invariant subspaces and T conductor of a vector into a subspace and used them to obtain characterization of triangulable and diagonalizable operators in terms of their minimal polynomials. We have also discussed the simultaneous triangulation of commuting family of triangulable operators and the simultaneous diagonalization of commuting family of diagonalizable operators. Before we attend the next unit, please try to answer the following questions. 1. Let W be an invariant subspace for T. Prove that the minimal polynomial for the restriction operator Tw divides the minimal polynomial for T without referring to matrices. 2. Let A equal to 0 1 0, 2 minus 2 2, 2 minus 3 2. Is A similar over the field of real numbers to a triangular matrix? If so, find such a triangular matrix. 3. Let T be a linear operator on V. If every subspace of V is invariant under T, then show that T is a scalar multiple of the identity operator. 4. Let F be a commuting family of 3 by 3 complex matrices. How many linearly independent matrices can F contains? What about the n by n case? Hope you enjoyed the session. See you next time. Until then, goodbye.